Tim Kulungian. Congratulations on a final round. How many finals is that this year?
That's 3 finals. For
3 finals. Excellent. 3 finals, 1 win. Good deal. Tell me how this team has come around.
Well, like every year, it seems like it's somewhat of a journey. When we work on some things during the wintertime, and then after the wintertime, you start using these new things you created, and you find the best way to use them throughout the year. That usually happens for us after a few races, and then we kind of hit our stride somewhere before the countdown, I think. And then hopefully during the countdown, I'd like to see us a little bit more competitive than we are right now. So we're gonna go home and do a little homework.
Well, final round is getting there.
It's getting there. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. I think we should have been running like low 80s, and we did a little bit we made some pretty big changes for the semis, and I think that kind of shot me in another direction, and so we ran what we knew we could run, but it wasn't. We're pushing as hard as we can.
All right. Where might those changes have been?
Usually with Pro Stock motorcycles, the biggest changes you're going to make are ignition timing or fuel-related changes. Those are the 2 big things when you're looking for horsepower. If you're not managing the quarter mile the way you'd like to manage it, or your gear changes aren't happening in a certain amount of time, then that'd be gear ratios. So there's a few different departments to pick from when you're looking for ET. We have the option to make like an overall rear gear change, which kind of brings like every gear ratio in the gearbox up or down, or we could make changes to individual gears in the gearbox.
All right. How do you make those changes between rounds?
So with the billet cases, it sure is a lot easier because the transmission slides out the side of the engine, and you have to remove the engine in order to change those gears. We used to do it with the factory cases. We would do it between rounds, however it's qualifying rounds. So we had to make sure that we were able to get the engine out, change the ratios, and put it back together, get it back into the next qualifying round. But come race day, like what you had in there was going to be what you ran, unless you swapped engines and had another engine set up in a different way. So on race day, we can get transmission ratios swapped around pretty easily.
All right. It's coming on autumn. What do you think the best application for ready parts equipment is in the autumn world?
I think any commercial vehicle that moves dirt that uses a track is a perfect application for ready parts.
Right.
They really are the manufacturer. They control the engineering of the tracks. They control the way the track's made. They have many options for their clients. And so this is truly a company that you can call and say, this is our application. We're using a skid steer, but we're in some pretty harsh terrain, or we're carrying heavier loads, and they have the option to build a track for their clients that has a certain amount of that's a bit more robust in certain areas than some of the other competitors.
It just occurs to me, speaking of heavy lifting and rough terrain, that a natural disaster like we just had in
Tampa.
North Carolina,
The East Coast.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that needs to be moved by machines, and a lot of parts worn out. Ready Parts might consider an emergency response vehicle.
Yeah, we've kind of spoken to the folks at Ready Parts about some of these solutions. They're a company that's got a tremendous amount of resources. They're a sharp company. They're really good guys. They're great guys to talk to. They're great guys to communicate with. They're pretty resourceful. So it's a really good working relationship. We enjoy the partnership.
All right. So rest of the countdown. Are we going to see more of this kind of improvement?
So we're going to go home to the shop and get to work and get a better understanding of some things in our engine program. And obviously the guys at KB are pretty involved. So we'll get with Lon and all those guys, and we can get our heads together and talk about some of the challenges we got, and take the next step.
Fantastic. Anything else?
Hey, hats off to Chase Van Sant.
Yeah, right?
Did a great job today.
Hell of a rider. Hell of a racer.
Is. I mean, great job. Bruce, the Trick Tools folks, like really, really great job. I think that, when you got a driver that rides a motorcycle, we went 105.1. I don't know this for a fact, but I think that's low 60 foot of race day. And with the inline fours, like, we really need to get our motorcycles moving at 660 pounds. It's absolutely crucial. We have to get vehicle speed, and we have to get our engine RPMs up in first gear in order for the bike to transition. It's a heavy motorcycle right now, so 60 foots are really, really important for us to being competitive in the quarter mile.
What about lobbying to remove the weight, this last round of weight that was added kind of across the board to everybody but the monster head and the 2-valve? Seems to be like a good idea, right? Huh?
Maybe unpack that a little bit. How do you mean? Are you making a suggestion?
I am. It seemed unnecessary at the time. Yeah. And it seems unnecessary now. I mean,
the two brands have different intrinsic strengths, right? Like the V twins make a lot of torque. They probably make. I haven't really raced a V twin. I don't know, but I hear they make about twice the torque we do.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that works out really good on gear recovery. They're very forgiving if they don't 60 foot as well as we do, right?
Yeah.
And we, meaning the inline fours, we've got we run about their top RPM is about, I don't know exactly, but it's about 10,000 or 10.2, right? And ours is around 13,800 to 14,000. So one of our strengths is we can do a lot more work over the time that we're racing, right? We have a lot more RPM. So I think they both have, some strengths that they bring to the table. It's just a matter of how you use them, right?
Yeah.
So one brand's a little more forgiving on gear recovery. Another brand does a lot more work over time, RPM, horsepower. The 660 pounds, that's a lot of weight to get moving. It's a lot.
Well, speaking of brands, the Monster 4-valve is a brand, and it doesn't seem to be responding to the competitive advantages that they've been granted. It doesn't seem like it's making a difference there.
You got one guy racing it.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And 2 valves aren't like rushing to take advantage of their rules advantages.
So you have with the 2-valve stuff, I think the rule is 570 or 575. I've never raced a pro stock motorcycle that light. Talked to a couple of guys that have competed at much lighter weights than we ever have. I don't know if they've been all the way down to 570 or 575, but it brings in a whole new challenge, right? Like accelerating the vehicle from 0 to 60 feet that light. It's quite the thing to do. It takes a lot less. It takes a lot less of everything. So when you're considering a 2-valve platform at that lightweight, it's not something you can just put together and go to the racetrack. It requires some trying.
I hear
some testing and.
Testing's key.
Yeah, it's very. I'm sure we can figure it out. I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem to figure out how to do it. But right now, like with our engine program, we've got all of our Vance and Hines cylinder heads. We use a Vance and Hines cylinder head. KB works with us on our engine program. We buy the cylinder heads from Vance and Hines, and then we put our own design. We have our own intake port design, our own exhaust port design, things like that. And we've designed our own cams, and so we've taken that head and we've kind of put our own technology in it. So we're so far down this road. That would be a very big change for us.
No, I'm not suggesting that you do. I'm just saying that they removed the weight that they added. They did not add to 2 valves or to monster heads and let you guys race
Just
at
the
the same
V-twin,
weight.
Just the V-twins and the Van Zyne cylinder heads.
Yeah.
That's right. That's very true.
Let's wrap up with today. Shame. It's a damn shame when both your bikes have to race each other first round.
Yeah, that's a tough. It's tough. We all really want to see Chris Bostic a bit more competitive than he is. Way more competitive than he is. He hasn't gone around this year yet, so we're fighting for him. We push really, really hard. He's doing a darn good job. He really is. This weekend, he's done a really, really great job.
Mm-hmm.
So we are continuing to. We're not letting up.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to continue fighting for Chris Bostic, and we'd love to see him go some rounds this year and have a good time.
Speaking of have a good time, I'll see you sometime soon having a good time somewhere.
Okay.